Welcome back to SV Ramble on. These are our boom gallows. They're a place to park the boom when the boat is not sailing. I want to add some padding to the spots where the boom sits to keep it from scratching up the bottom of the boom. Alright, so I got the gallows down. Just took the bar off. There's 4 bolts that hold it up there to the posts. Last year or the year before I added some padding just to protect the boom, and this is just little strips of leather that I epoxied down to the gallows. The padding I'm going to add is going to wrap over and around and get fastened with copper nails. So I took a piece of paper, made a pattern a little bit bigger than what I need, and this one's on an angle, you can see, based on the lay of the boom when it's off center. So I just made a paper pattern. Now I'm going to lay it out on my leather. Just make some marks. So here's the piece of leather. I also took a scrap of wood and made a little form to kind of clamp it in there so that it doesn't bruise the leather too bad on top. And then now you just take it and soak it in a bucket of warm water for a little while. Kind of depends on the leather and how thick it is, how long it takes. This is vegetable tanned leather. It's about 3/32 of an inch thick. I just went to Tandy Leather and got some leather material. So now the leather's nice and soft and it's a little bit stretchy. You can manipulate it a little bit better. So I like to dry it off just a little bit and just position it where you want it with enough overlap that you have room to trim. And we get that thing set up, and this is the fun part, because now you're just kind of stretching the leather out and then molding it to shape, trying to work all the wrinkles away. So these clamps like to leave bruise marks in the leather. I like to put those far enough away they don't do too much damage, and then just add a couple of more clamps on the edges, and you just let it sit till it dries. Alright, feels pretty dry now, so time to take off the clamps. Let's see what we got. So this is pretty well molded. I like to basically scribe the outline of about how big I want it. So I'm using a mechanical pencil, but I have the lead retracted. Kind of a vague idea of how much overlap I want. So the leather's still a little bit soft, so these lines carve in pretty easily. Then I'm going to take some scissors and cut them out. So now what you got is this little leather patch fitted. Make any adjustments, tune it up, trim it a little bit. So that's pretty close to how I want it. So now I'm going to take some more warm water and soften it up a bit again. Not too long, a few minutes. So here's our piece of leather. Dry it off. Slap it back down in there so it's soft and flexible again. So I just mash it around a little bit. So I'm using copper tacks. And these things are cut copper tacks. They're 100% copper. They're not plated, so they won't rust. These ones kind of have an old-timey finish, sort of like a horseshoe nail. I think they add a little bit to the overall aesthetics. So what I'm going to do is spot some holes in the leather. That's where I'm going to put the nails. Alright, next I'm going to use this, the Speedy Stitcher, without thread, and all I want to do is just punch through the leather and mark the holes into the wood, because the center punch didn't mark them. I'm going at kind of an angle, so to help stretch the leather a little bit. Alright, so I've got all my holes spotted. Take a 1/16 inch drill bit, and I set a piece of masking tape a little bit deeper than the copper nail, because the copper nails are soft and they want to bend. If you don't drill them deep enough, they don't go into wood very well. All right. So once you got all your nails spotted where you want them, get everything lined up. Like this one here needs a little bit of an adjustment. The leather's still soft, so it's still a little bit stretchy. When it dries, it'll shrink a little bit and tighten everything up. So now let everything dry and let the leather shrink for a final trim. So once all your leather's dry and everything is shrunk up nicely, you may have to do some trimming around the edges where it puckered out. About the only thing left to do now is give it some oil. All I got is teak oil. So I'm just going to use this on the leather. So you can see the leather soaks it in really nicely. Kind of gives it that nice weathered brown look. You want to pay extra attention to the edges, the cut edges. Get it in there really good. So I'm already liking this a lot. So that's about it for that. Leather's on the boom gallows. Hey, if you found something interesting, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. I'm no leather worker, so if you got any suggestions or comments or tips, let me know. You can leave us a comment down below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also find us on Instagram at SV_Ramble on, and you can also find us on Facebook at SVRO.